Peace and welcome to World War Wrestling. Viewership has hikey fell off since I've started doing the new format. Maybe people just don't know what to expect anymore going head to head like this, but I'm gonna keep pushing forward and hopefully we figure things out somewhere down the road. I'm doing Raw from this week. I can probably get you a date in a second. I can tell why the quality of these are not that great. They're really long, so I get it. Monday the 5th and Dynamite from the 7th. I have these two almost perfectly lined up, and the first one is a gimme. I probably could have worked this around, but the first one definitely goes to Hangman versus Swerve 3, match ending in a draw versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, yada, yada, yada. A whole bunch of talking and not saying nothing. McIntyre interrupting. Probably a lot more interesting, you know. I could probably switch this up a little bit and talk about the Raw Fatal 4 Tag Way and the Hangman versus Swerve match. But it wouldn't matter because the Hangman versus Swerve match is still taking it regardless. If we are going to do it that way, though, then I'll compare the Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, yada, 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 with the Samoa Joe, yada, yada, yada. Hangman versus Swerve was incredible. It could have went either way. You definitely thought it was going to go either way. I thought Hangman had died multiple times during this match. And Swerve busted out Hangman's entire arsenal better than Hangman did. He did Hangman better than Hangman could do Hangman. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Match, when I first wrote this down, or I guess the second or third time I wrote this down, because I had to redo my notes because I discovered that NWA is on CW Network now, and that's where NWA has been hiding for the past few weeks. My favorite way to do 8-man tag matches is Fatal 4-Way tag matches. So this was great. This is definitely up there. And this would have went against the Samoa Joe promo. But in all fairness, I like to do matches with matches and promos with promos if I can. And either way, Hangman versus Swerve took it. I never thought I would be so satisfied with a draw, but it definitely made me excited for it. This is like a 5-match series that they're doing now. So Hangman can win 2 back to back now, and they would still be in a draw. So it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. All right, the Samoa Joe promo immediately following Hangman versus Swerve being declared a triple threat for his tag match. A lot of people had some doubts in Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe is absolutely terrifying in a way that Drew McIntyre attempts to be, but isn't. Drew McIntyre comes across as like a big tough guy that can't fight. Like got the big muscles. He has the beard. He's got tattoos, I think. Maybe he does or doesn't. I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to Drew McIntyre. But he can't actually fight, so it's like he's very intimidating psychologically. But as far as physical reality is concerned, not really, not so much at all. And it's a little disappointing, but it's definitely the major reason as to why Drew McIntyre is treated the way that he is that he's not a proven tough guy. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes promo. I don't know. It seems like a lot of things are kind of going on the fly. And Rollins is injured. And Rollins is the only person that's held this belt so far. So I think it is like you don't want this belt to live and die with Seth Rollins, and then Roman Reigns takes over the entire show. If Cody Rhodes goes against Roman Reigns, he's going to lose. It's going to lose, whether there's outside interference or not. Cody Rhodes cannot beat Roman Reigns. It's never going to happen. Cody Rhodes has zero muscle on his body. He is a tall, lanky white boy. He's got some cool high flying moves, but he's fragile. And again, he has zero muscles on his body whatsoever. He looks like a dancer. He doesn't look like a professional wrestler. He looks like Kerry Morton to me. He is like a slightly more lean Kerry Morton. So Seth needs Cody to beat him in order for the title to continue on, in order for there to be a babyface champion. Do you consider Seth Rollins a babyface? I feel like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have entered neutral territory where they just are their character, they just are their gimmick, and that's really all it is at that point in time. Deanna Perrazzo, Tony Storm, and Red Velvet versus Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. I really thought Red Velvet was gonna take this match. And I know if like you go 10 minutes or so with the champion, then you're considered for a belt. But I actually really thought that Red Velvet was going to patch this up and take it out. But Tony Storm is a big girl. Deanna Perrazzo is a big girl too. But like they are some big girls, big women, I guess. But I said big woman makes it sound like huge. I don't mean like huge. I mean like Tony Storm's been doing the Boonda workouts, you know. So lower body is huge. She has a very stocky upper body, and it's just it's like it was basically like Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. That Cody can get on all the offense that he wants, but it's only going to take a few moves to shut out Cody Rhodes. And that's unfortunate, but it's a reality. It's a reality. Tony Storm really trying to get into Deanna Perrazzo's head. Deanna Perrazzo took her sweet old time getting into the ring, you know, and she didn't really get in there to help Red Velvet. She just get in, she got in there because Tony Storm got into her head. She didn't care about Red Velvet at all. You know, that was really fucked. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. I feel like this is a wrestling match versus a sports entertainment exhibition. And that Shayna Baszler, just like with Red Velvet, both of the I would say upstarts, but the usurpers, if you will, were all the offense, doing all the work, the whole match, you know, and then the superstar did a little razzle dazzle, and then now the match is over. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? When Becky Lynch beat Shayna Baszler, I was like, because they really hyped up Shayna Baszler. I'm sure Shayna Baszler will find her way back in there somehow. You know, there's always like the losers consolation match for like the last spot or something like that. Or Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks can go full heel and take out one of the other women that enter. But just because Becky Lynch won this match and Shayna Baszler deserved it far more than she did, I got to give it over to Deanna Perrazzo and Red Velvet for that performance of hyping up Tony Storm, destroying Deanna Perrazzo. Because Tony Storm took a butt whooping tonight, and she didn't. She didn't. She just brushed it off. Um, you probably don't have this scored the way that I do on your end, but I got two for Dynamite for Hangman and Swerve, Tony Storm versus Red Velvet, and one for Raw for the promo. Because Samoa Joe's promo seemed very reactionary. The aforementioned promo seemed like theater, you know. So I gotta give him posts for that. A Liv Morgan promo into Rhea Ripley promo into Nia Jax absolutely destroying Rhea Ripley again. You know Nia Jax isn't gonna beat Rhea Ripley, but she absolutely destroyed Rhea Ripley. Best friends promo. That was the most socially awkward thing I'd ever seen before. It just looked like the best friends were terrified of John Moxley in the Blackpool Combat Club, so they didn't even want to like interact with Renee in any type of way, because she has to be kind of crazy to be with a guy like John Moxley too. CML versus Blackpool Combat Club. I kind of lost interest in this match once it seemed like the Blackpool Combat Club was gonna win. So I think I walked away and I went to like go help my lady give her kid a bath. So the only other match here is Miz and JD, which I also did not watch. So Viking Raiders, Valhalla and Ivar versus Akira Tozawa and Maxine versus CML versus Blackpool Combat Club. I'm put it like this. I didn't see it. If C I did I saw like half the match, and then I was like, okay, CML is gonna lose. I don't need to watch any more of this. If CML did win the match, I would give them the point. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. So I got to give it over to Valhalla and Ivar for their performance. Gunther Uso Imperium promo versus Jericho versus Tanosuke Takeshita. I can totally see why it looks like Takeshita. I can see it. I can see it. Take take shit. I can see take shitta. I can see it. I written down perfectly, and I can see it. I can see it. Low hanging fruit there from NJF, but I get it. Chris Jericho versus Tenosuke Takeshita. Uh, Takeshita. Versus Gunther Uso Imperium New Day promo triple threat thing that's gonna happen. The New Day tag teaming with an Uso seemed really epic. Seemed really epic. And it almost seems like they have a natural energy for each other. To see an Uso join the New Day, I don't know who else you could have got to replace Big E. And nobody else could have added anything else to that position. Maybe Odyssey Jones, but I don't want to see Odyssey Jones doing New Day shit. Quincy Quincy Walker, maybe. I don't know if that's his actual name. I'm sorry. I know a guy named Quincy Walker, so I apologize for that. But the Quincy guy, I could see him being heavy for New Day. Mm, I don't know. I still got to give it to Jericho. It was a good match. There's like there's not a lot left on this card to really compare to in relative order. If I do a better job organizing it in the future, I guess I can get like more even promos versus matches. But I don't have it. I don't have it like that for now. I'm sorry. Sting and Darby versus Billy Starks. I was very surprised to see Billy Starks taking on both Sting and Darby Allen. But it wasn't as surprising because Billy Starks actually lost this match against Sting and Darby. And Billy Starks actually lost to Sting, you know? So the fact that Billy Starks is going against Sting and Darby Allin, and the other match here is the Kabuki Warriors. Written down is so like if you know, it sounds like Warriors. The Kabuki Warriors. I'm sorry. The Kabuki versus I don't Katana and Chance, the party girls. I don't know what you call them. Actually, they did not like this woman's match at all. I did to the extent that they're trying to build up the Kabuki Warriors. But if you had an automatic like rematch, I don't know why you would use it so quickly just to stay relevant. Like I don't know what you thought you were as a tag team coming from NXT that you're just gonna beat freaking Asuka 1v2 to begin with. And then she has Kyrie crazy ass Zayn. Kyrie Zane's a crazy chick. She crazy. Yeah, talk to her husband. Make sure he's okay. She crazy. You know, I just like I don't trust her. I don't. Asuka's already like kind of weird, all her own, doing her thing. Kyrie Zane is a negative influence. I'm sure she's like a nice lady and fun to hang out with or whatever, but Kyrie Zane is crazy. You know, she is dangerous. She's a dangerous person in that ring. And it's Oscar again. Oscar 1v2. You know, you might be able to beat Kyrie Zane 1v2. You can probably but one on one, Kyrie Zane is a crazy human being. And I don't think either of them are like aware of the depths that Kyrie Zane is willing to go through in order to hurt one of these bitches. You know? Like I say that because Oscar seems kind of like cool, Americanized, you know, great for Western consumption and entertainment. Kyrie Zane seems like a Japanese nationalist. It was like the fact that like she came out with like this like navy gimmick and like Japan is known for its navy. I'm like I don't know, like Kyrie Zane is crazy. She's a crazy chick. You know, it's like I remember Kyrie Zane at NXT too. Like she's a crazy chick. You know, Billy Starks is actually Ricky Starks and William Morrissey. So I don't know. It was a good match. Both were pretty good matches, but Billy Starks going against Sting and Darby. Come on now. So this is met with Cody Rhodes versus Nakamura in a dog collar match, and the Young Bucks coming in at the last segment to absolutely destroy the Bucks. What I could kind of do here is compare the Young Bucks to Gunther. I could compare probably Jericho and Tenosuke. I feel like Dynamite just doesn't have their matches in order. Like if you were going head to head with Raw like this mindfully, it's like you sent all the wrong people out at the wrong time. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. One, two, three. I actually have three for Raw and one, two, three. I have four for Dynamite actually. So this is either going to end in a tie with Raw picking up the proxy by default just because it had Mrs. McDonough on the card. But I wasn't expecting the Young Bucks to come out and do what they did. I wasn't expecting them to come out and bust them open like they did. And the all white suits covered in blood that these sociopaths are probably going to wear week after week, if not at least to the show, it's disturbing on so many levels. It gave me this kind of Clockwork Orange type of vibe, but I don't remember like there being all white suits necessarily in the Clockwork Orange. This was an issue. This was a problem for me. Um, Nakamura and Cody Rhodes. If Shinsuke would have won this match, if they put Cody Rhodes on this sort of like hero's journey of getting back, he already has, the title match, but it's just maybe I'm not good enough to beat Roman quite yet. And he put him on this hero's journey leading up to WrestleMania, where he takes on Seth, or he like interferes in The Rock versus Roman Reigns, because The Rock versus Roman versus Cody Rhodes would one preserve The Rock because he could spend some time on the outside and do whatever he does. Him and Roman can have their thing. Roman takes out The Rock, Cody Rhodes takes out Roman, and Cody ends up with the victory. And then Roman Reigns and The Rock are in this blood feud because The Rock cost him his title match. I could still see Cody Rhodes being a part of a triple threat. But Cody Rhodes won. It's made me feeling like there's still a lot of growth to go with Cody Rhodes. Like he's basically just Stardust without the mask, and somewhat worse promos and less charisma somehow. Even though I can understand what you're saying now, and you're Stardust, I couldn't understand shit. Rhodes versus Nakamura. I would have honestly, if this was just the bull rope match by itself, which is not the same as a dog collar match at all. It's like the PG-13 version of a dog collar match. Uh, I would have probably given it to the Bucks. But Drew fucking McIntyre, like both of these segments that Cody's in, Drew McIntyre completely saves the day. The only reason they got the first point against the Samoa Joe promo was that the promo cut was going to be far better than either the match or the promo. But Drew McIntyre came in and got them that first point. Drew McIntyre is the reason why Monday Night Raw won this. Because if they had Seth and Cody jibber jabbering, Shinsuke Nakamura should have been the one to interfere. But they don't want to use Shinsuke properly. They just have a token Japanese person that they could put on whenever they need someone to gyrate and get the crowd pumped up and then spread some more racist white supremacy. Drew McIntyre came through and kicked the shit out of Cody Rhodes. And that is the only reason they got this point. Because it was a match. But, damn, I'm just saying, like, Rhodes needs to sell a little bit more. If you're going to sell like that to Drew McIntyre, you could have gave up a victory to Nakamura down the way. I really should give the point over to Dynamite for that. But the Young Bucks, I would say the Young Bucks interfering and beating the crap out of Darby and Sting gave me more reason to want to see that match play out. So it did justify it. But the fact that they're like the EVPs of the company and they come across as such douchebags, it just fucks up the entire image of AEW. I would put it like this. I feel like the Young Buck issue is that, to be honest, if you had the Bucks in a lesser capacity in which they were just talent or they were just authority figures that no one could touch, I would say either of those scenarios work. I feel like them being both representatives of the company and also being completely deplorable human beings ruins the entire image of AEW. So Raw wins by default simply because they had that Miz and McDonough match, which was probably a banger. You know, that's a huge Judgment Day match. And it's something that I would consider going back to watch because I missed it. I did not go back to watch it because I missed it. So either the idea of the Miz or the idea of McDonough made me not feel like it was worth watching. I don't know. I honestly didn't even know it was on the card until they spoke about it later. That was honestly, I didn't even see the theme music. I didn't even know it was coming. That was honestly just something that I got up to use the bathroom. It ended up being some other things inside the house I had to do. And then I came back out and they were talking about the Miz and McDonough. And I was like, damn, did not see it. So Raw picks it up by default for that. I'm pretty sure Miz versus McDonough was a banger. It probably, if the Judgment Day was involved and R-Truth was involved, it probably was better than CML versus BBC. But nothing's really better than the BBC. And there's nothing really better than World War Wrestling.